you guys. Billy D here. Welcome to NASR on this Sunday afternoon, May 3rd, 3:30 in the afternoon. Getting you ready for Game 7. Multiple Game 7s in the NBA playoffs tonight and in the NHL. Got a couple of messages here on the Insta chat, as well as I got to do my right and wrong segment. Things I got right, things I got wrong. I know it's kind of like Colin Cowherd, where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. I do the same type of thing. I call it where Billy screwed up and where Billy nailed it on the head. I don't really have a name for it, but I like to correct little mistakes I make on the air, and usually it's the listeners that point it out. I had Danny from East Haven, Connecticut, tell me in referencing the NBA, I mentioned James Harden was on the Houston Rockets when talking about the Lakers-Rockets series. I did briefly mention his name. Obviously, I know that James Harden is on the Cleveland Cavaliers. In referencing the teams, similarities are the Rockets have a lot of young players in Alperen Sengun, who averaged 21 points a game, the Turkish-European player, Reed Shepherd, Jabari Smith down low, and KD kind of gets in their way. Like, people were referencing that KD being out is the reason why the Rockets lost the series. Honestly, the Rockets are young and athletic, and they are rising. I think KD almost slows them down, almost gets in their way at this point. KD's on the back end. And I actually thought the Rockets played better in the series when he didn't play. So the similarity, I had Harden in my mind because it's the same thing with the Cavs. The Cavs are led by Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. And listen, Harden's still a great player, but it's more about those guys. He's more a support player at this point, in my eyes anyway. So, I don't know, the similarity was in my brain. I don't know why I said it that way. But yes, I screwed up. I'm aware, Danny from East Haven, that James Harden is a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers and not the Houston Rockets. Other, Phil from upstate New York, asking me who I like tonight in the hockey games. So we have a Game 7 in the NHL between Tampa and Montreal. I can't wait for that. I like the Lightning tonight. Now, I also like the Avalanche to prevail in Game 1 of the second round when they face off against the Minnesota Wild, who just defeated the Dallas Stars. Obviously, we know in 6 games that kicks off. So we have a Game 7 in the NHL as well, where the Lightning take on the Montreal Canadiens. They'll be home in Tampa. That game is a 6 p.m. They drop the puck. 6 p.m. face-off. And the Wild and Avalanche get underway at 9 o'clock. These are Eastern Standard Time starts. That's the start times I'm giving you. Those are the Eastern times. So 6 o'clock for the Canadiens and the Bolts. The Habs and the Bolts. And 9 o'clock for the Wild and the Avalanche. Now, yesterday I gave you Carolina, but I also gave you the Boston Celtics, and then I put them in a moneyline parlay, so I was 1-2 on the show yesterday. I am taking the Avalanche tonight, and I'm taking the Lightning tonight. Let's segue back to the NBA. Game 7 just tipping off right now. The Orlando Magic at the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are an 8.5-point favorite. I like Detroit in this game. And at 7:30, the Raptors and the Cavaliers. I like the Cavs in this game. I would tease the two, bring the lines down to 3.5. They're both 8.5. I would tease the Cavs and the Pistons. So you'd have Detroit minus 3.5, Cleveland minus 3.5. I would like those two in a teaser. That's what I'll give you for the NBA. Hey, listen, the Magic also will be missing one of their top players. Let's get the injury report for the Orlando game. Just want to make sure Just want to make sure. The Magic had a 3-1 lead in this series, and the Pistons couldn't throw the ball in the water. I mean, they could not throw the ball in the water. Franz Wagner out for Game 7 showdown. That's big. That is big for the Magic. He will be out with a calf strain. Fifth-year forward is listed out with a strained right calf. That's big. Okay, well, after a 3-1 series lead, Detroit now has come all the way back and will host Game 7 tonight, led by their star Cunningham, who had 32 points in the last game. Also, the Raptors and the Cavs. Cavs led by Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and James Harden. They lost the 112-110 overtime decision in Toronto. They will look to wrap it up. I'm surprised the series went 7. Kudos to the Raptors. They got a lot of fight. Again, both these spreads are 8.5. I told you I would tease the 2. Now, I want to go over one of the games I got wrong yesterday. The Sixers. So we got the 2-7. I set you up for the 2 Game 7s, okay? Just underway now. The Pistons are hosting the Magic. That game just got underway. And at 7:30, you have Toronto and Cleveland. So you got those 2. And then you have the Lightning and the Canadiens tonight, 6 p.m. They drop the puck. So you have 3 Game 7s, playoffs, NHL, NBA, very exciting stuff. Last night, obviously, the Celtics dropped Game 7 at home to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, listen, when Joel Embiid came back this series, it altered, obviously. When he's healthy, he is still a force to be reckoned with. And I know you bang your head against the wall with Embiid. He misses so much time during the season. Seems like you can never, ever trust him. But, listen, with Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid, these 3 guys are healthy. The Sixers are dangerous in the Eastern Conference. And you very seldom get them all together on the floor, but when they are all there, and as I analyze it now, I probably didn't have a good read on this. Up 3-1, looked like the Celtics were in control, but then Tatum's hurt again. And listen, he had a sore knee last night. I'm sorry. No way Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, you'd have to kill them to keep them out of a Game 7. They'd have to be on their last breath on their deathbed to keep them out of a Game 7. I just don't understand these players today. But Embiid, 34 points last night. George, 13 points. Only did shoot 50%. George also had 3 rebounds. George had 6 boards, only 2 turnovers, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Maxey, 30 points, 11 boards, and 7 assists for Tyrese Maxey. And Embiid, 34 points, 12 boards. What else can you say? 34, 12, and 10 for Embiid. And the Celtics, listen, the Celtics shoot a lot of threes, and they're good at that. That's their game. They bombs away, and again, they struggled. White, 26 points, but he was 9 of 26, and 5 of 16 from three-point land. Jaylen Brown, 33 points. He did all he could. He was 12 of 26. Not terrible. 3 of 9 from three-point range. Also not terrible. 6 for 6 from the free throw line. He did all he could. But the Celtics had 3 members of their starting rotation, Harper, Shireman, and Garza, who did not score a point. That has never happened in NBA history. Shireman, 0 for 4. Garza and Harper, 0 for 2. They only took 2 shots each. That has never happened in NBA history. 3 players on the starting lineup do not score. And then Tatum does not play. Terrible job. I'm sorry, Tatum. You got to gut this out. This is do or die. And terrible job. You got 3 guys that don't even score. Cueto had 17 off the bench. Hauser had 11. Pritchard 13. They should have probably played them more minutes because their starters couldn't do jack. Again, Celtics did not shoot well from the arc, beyond the arc, which is their game, and that kind of sealed their fate. Celtics did make a run late as they were down like 18 points and getting smacked. And they did make a run. They got it to within 2 points. Then they got it to within they had the ball down 2. I was watching this, and there were numerous times the Celtics had the ball with a chance to tie. I do believe they might have even been down by 1 with a chance to take the lead. They never did get the game tied or take the lead in the fourth quarter, and eventually the Sixers pulled away. A bitter, bitter pill to swallow for the Boston Celtics. A bitter pill. Okay, so I gave you my picks for tonight. I like the Lightning, and I like the Avalanche in the NHL. I did tell you to do that NBA teaser with the Cavs and the Pistons. That's my 3 picks. Yeah, so I corrected we did the right and wrong segment where I correct my little slip-ups on the air, as my listeners are always quick to catch me when I slip up. I mean, heck, I heard Christopher Mad Dog Russo on Sirius the other day talking hockey, saying how Dominik Hasek never won a Stanley Cup. He's won 2, by the way. One as a starter and one as a backup, both with the Red Wings. Also, you remember him in the great Sabres Dallas Stars Cup in '99 where he came up on the losing end. Everybody has little mental slip-ups. I'm sure Mad Dog was aware that Hasek had won 2 cups. He just misspoke. Love me some Christopher Mad Dog Russo. And what's this one? David from Saddle River, is that New Jersey? Yeah. Okay, says, you got to rename your right and wrong segment. You're ripping off the herd. Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, I know. It's important, though. See, one thing I love about when Colin does his right and wrong, he does it on predictions. And I do it when I get a prediction right and when I get a prediction wrong. Like, if you listen to my draft show, I must have nailed 15 out of the 32 draft choices. That's hard to do because with trades and things moving around. I've also... I also, like I said, if you followed my picks during the year, I was 500 in the NFL, but I hit my college games at 61%. I was 10 games over at 500 in college. And MLB last year, I gave you 10 playoff picks during the playoffs. I gave you 10 games. I went 8-2. So I like to give myself a pat on the back, but I also, if I misspeak or I get some of the factual information incorrect, I always go back and correct it, whether or not my listeners and callers catch me or not on it, because they're usually quick to say, hey, you misspoke or you screwed up here, and I am quick to get on that. We like to keep things always factually on the mark here on this show. Let's go over some of the NHL action from, well, there was only one game, the game that I gave out. The Carolina Hurricanes 3-0 victory over the Flyers. Some people thought that teams like the Hurricanes and Colorado tonight, because of the long layoff, because they swept their first round opponents, that they might be a little rusty. A lot of times in hockey, that's not the case. In football, if you have a long layoff, it's tough to reach the physicality. Hockey, at the end of a long, long season, a lot of times the rest gets players re-energized. Those little nagging injuries can heal. I mean, case in point, Connor McDavid was obviously not healthy, and it affected the Edmonton Oilers. I've never seen Connor McDavid in a 6-game series go scoreless 3 out of the 6 games. He was pointless 3 out of the 6 games. One of the reasons why they were defeated by the Ducks. And Sidney Crosby, obviously not himself, obviously playing hurt. He got hurt in the Olympics, finally came back, was never 100% healthy. Sometimes a little extra rest, and then you start at home. That could also be a positive factor. The Hurricanes have been, their defense and their goaltending, Freddie Anderson's been fantastic. You look at all the scores of their games throughout the playoffs. 3-2, 3-2, 2-0, 3-0. 3-0. It's like, so yesterday, again, Stankoven leads the way for the Hurricanes. Jason Blake's son added a goal, and Stankoven had, was it 2? Let me just check. Freddie Anderson stopped all 19 shots that he saw. Yep, 2 goals. 2 goals for Stankoven. Boy, what a move that was by Carolina getting him from Dallas. I mean, he has been money. He has 5 goals in the playoffs. Logan Stankoven has 5 goals in the playoffs for the Carolina Hurricanes. Well, listen, he was part of the Ratnin trade. Dallas did good with that too. So both teams came out doing well in that trade. Dan Vladar, 20 saves out of 23 shots. He saw Carolina controlled the flow of their game again, limiting the Flyers to only 19 shots. The Flyers love their physical style of play, but of course, that's Carolina's game too. And they have a higher ceiling with the talent. Although, again, lots of good young players on the Flyers. And Mikov and Martone and Zegras. But Carolina, they have a high end with Stahl, their captain, and Svechnikov, and Taylor Hall, and Seth Jarvis. There's a lot of talent on the Carolina Hurricanes. Their biggest concern was, their backup goalie, Busey, was playing a lot this year, and Anderson was hot and cold, but he is locked in. He was down the stretch. He is in the playoffs, so all the more power to the Carolina Hurricanes if that's going their way. So, all right, that's where we're at. That is where we're at. What else do we have here? What else do we have? So everybody else is in wait mode. Sabres already done with their series in the Bruins, 4-2. The Knights took care of the Mammoth in the Western Conference, 4-2. Obviously, we got Game 7 tonight with the Lightning and the Habs. We've got the first game of the second round with the Wild and the Avalanche. The Ducks. I gotta look at the schedule here. It's going to be the Ducks and the Golden Knights in the second round, the Avalanche and the Wild, and the Sabres are awaiting the winner of the Canadiens and the Lightning. And of course we know that Carolina now has a 1-0 lead over the Flyers in the second round. So we're going to have Lightning, Canadiens tonight. The Buffalo Sabres waiting for their opponent in the second round. The Buffalo Sabres will have home ice over Montreal or Tampa Bay, depending on, no matter who it is. The Vegas Golden Knights will have home ice over the Anaheim Ducks. When does that series get underway? Let's check. I can't believe it is already May 3rd, and I'm going to tell you something. It is. Again, woke up cold in Connecticut this morning. It was in the 40s. I woke up this morning on May 3rd in Connecticut. It was 44 degrees. Definitely not digging that. Definitely not digging that. Hi, Tucky. That's my little dog. My golden retriever is visiting us in the studio. Come here, Tuck. Come on. It's all right. You want to come? My golden retriever. Is it close? It must be getting close to doggy dinner time here. All right, so tomorrow we'll have Game 2 at 7 p.m., the 4th of May. That will be Monday, 7 p.m., Game 2, Flyers and Canes. And Game 1 of the Vegas Golden Knights hosting the Ducks. That will be tomorrow, Monday night, 9:30. So tomorrow night in the NHL, you've got the Flyers and the Canes at 7, and you've got the Ducks and the Golden Knights at 9:30. I'll tell you what, if you've been following this show, I've been picking the Canes every game, and they've been winning every game. So I'm going to keep riding the Canes till they lose. Tuesday night, we have the Wild and Avalanche, 8 p.m. That will be game 2 of that series. That's what we got for you. So enjoy the Game 7s tonight. Obviously, we're going to have a Sixers-Knicks matchup here on the East Coast. That is going to be juicy as all hell. I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be must-see TV. You never know with those two teams, and God knows you can never trust the Knicks. Anyway, that's my dog. You hear him? Tucker is telling me that it's, Daddy, I'm hungry. It's actually not dinner time for Golden Retrievers for another 30 minutes, but it is Sunday, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go get my 2 lovely Golden Retrievers their dinner, make some myself, sit down and get into that basketball game that's already underway. The Pistons are up 14-13 on the Magic in the first quarter. 5.5 minutes left in the first. 14-13 Pistons over the Magic from Detroit. 7:30 Raptors Cavs. 6 o'clock Bolts and Habs. All game 7s. And then at 9 o'clock you have the Wild and the Avalanche, second round, game 1. You guys have a great Sunday. I'll catch up with you during the week. Not really sure when, but we're going to go over the the NFL draft grades. I've got NFL draft grades. So we're going to go through every team. We did some of it yesterday. But after, we're also going to do some more baseball. I know the Mets have the worst record in Major League Baseball. They are 11-22. Obviously, they're missing Lindor, and they're banged up, but they've been terrible. I can't believe Mendoza hasn't been fired yet. The Yankees are rolling right along. Like they have. Yankees are actually up 4-3. 4-3 right now in the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Yanks over the Orioles. Sox and Astros are tied at 1-7. Phillies all over the Marlins in the 8th, 7-2. Giants and Rays top of the 9th, 1-1. Dodgers over the Cardinals, 3-0. Cubs over the Diamondbacks, 6-2. Braves over the Rockies, 3-1 in the 3rd. Later tonight, you have the Guardians and the Athletics and the aforementioned Mets and Angels. Those games are actually starting at 4:10 p.m. White Sox, Padres tonight. Royals, Mariners. Rangers, Tigers. That's what you got in MLB. We'll be more in depth with that. Right now, we're focused on the NBA and the NHL playoffs. When hockey and basketball is over, we're going to do all NFL draft grades. We're going to do all baseball, and we'll even get you some updates from college football as they get ready for another season. We're going to have a lot to do, but as of now, we're going to be focusing on the NBA and the NHL playoffs for the most part. All right, guys. Have a good Sunday. I'll catch you later.